Good morning, Canada. Good morning, America. And welcome to today's Big Deal Live edition. It's the #1 headliner of Who Wants to Marry a Foreigner reality TV pilot audition for Bachelor #1 spot with Denis Nowoselski. This guy's story, OMG. Check it out. You're going to meet Denis in just a moment.
I was having tea in a Lviv cafe when a stranger asked me if he could join me. Being Canadian, I was happy to oblige him. But then the next thing I knew, I felt a strange kind of dizziness. When I suspected that my tea had been drugged, I got up to leave. Then out of nowhere, I was grabbed, thrown in a car, driven out into the dark snowy woods, assaulted, robbed, and left for dead in a field. If a Ukrainian Good Samaritan had not seen my snow-covered body, I wouldn't be alive today to tell you my story. I woke up in what looked like a war-torn Lviv hospital with doctors standing over me. My survival journey is another chapter. My name is Denis Nowoselski, and I'm a Bachelor #1 in the contest Who Wants to Marry a Foreigner?
Hey guys, so we are live. So prepare your questions. Feel free to enter them now in comments or in chat. Denis is a fellow Canuck, fellow Canadian from the prairies, as am I. So yeah, we're going to hear all the details of his nightmare story in just a moment here. Now I'm going to play for you Denis's 10 lady introduction choices. So these are 10 ladies from our website, Match Guarantee, that he chose that he wants to invite out to date in Kyiv. Okay. So when you watch this slideshow of Denis's ladies, I'm going to ask you, the network has asked for you to vote. Vote basically thumbs up. You think Denis can be successful with the 10 ladies he's chosen. You know, he's within a zone of success, as we call it. Or thumbs down, you think he's all wet. You know, he's out of his league and he's just not going to be successful with these ladies that he's chosen. Okay, let's have a look and we will come back in just about a minute and we'll meet Denis. Hey guys, welcome back. So what do you think? Thumbs up, he can be successful, or thumbs down? Please vote now on this video. Thanks very much. Okay, few announcements before we get going here. Great news. We still have, well, there's 10 now live auditions on the channel, and there will be a total of 37. So we have 27 more spots. Okay, before this contest is over and we select our 2 winners for Bachelor #1 and Bachelor #2 position. Denis is up for Bachelor #1 spot. So there's lots of opportunity for you guys to still jump in and win this thing. So what do you win? You win, first of all, our coveted $10,000 lifetime matchmaking partnership, unlimited dates, unlimited full team support until you walk down the aisle with your beautiful Ukrainian wife. Also, you win a spot on Who Wants to Marry a Foreigner reality TV show pilot, which will be filmed COVID force majeure dependent, this summer in Kyiv. Okay, so what you want to do to apply is simply go to the description below this video right now and click on the enter to win button. Alternatively, you can go to our website, Match Guarantee, spelled with y.com/register, and you can sign up that way. Okay, and good luck to all you guys. We need more applicants, more contestants. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Okay, if you could do us a favor and subscribe to the channel now and smash that bell so you don't miss out on all of the Bachelor auditions hitting the channel almost daily now, okay? And if you smash that bell, remember that YouTube will notify you when we go live with the actual reality TV show, which will be live actually on 3 YouTube channels. And we'll let you know which other channels those are as the date approaches. Okay, so just quickly, 11 a.m. Eastern, okay? So right after this, George Wiley will be up for audition, and his coach will be Steve. So right after this edition at 11 a.m. Eastern, will be George Wiley from Toronto. And then 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, Steve will go live with cost of dating in Ukraine and comparing cost of dating versus cost of living, comparing real estate, flat costs, all, cost of living, cost of dating, and comparing them. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, let's pull in our bachelor here and say hi to Denis. Hey, Denis, welcome.
Hi, Joe.
How you feeling?
Feeling great.
All right.
Can't wait to get this COVID over and get a chance to come back to the Ukraine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you said 1 COVID shot and you got a second one to go and then you're good to go, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let me ask you, as a former pastor, you don't think there's anything in that vaccine that
I'm trusting the medical personnel, the professionals, the scientists, and I think if everybody participates in getting vaccinated, we're going to beat this thing, and we're going to be back to a normal world. I'm optimistic.
Okay. Well, we'll leave that debate for another day.
Yep.
Okay. So let's see. I guess without further ado, let's jump into this nightmare story of yours. If I could ask you to take us back, I mean, you've become a little bit famous on the channel playing that teaser video that you shot for us earlier, your nightmare story. So could you walk us through, when was that? What happened? And how did you possibly get drugged and robbed and left for dead in a snow-covered field?
Well, it was a little over 2 years ago in late October. I was visiting Lviv and hoping to see some of my grandfather's relatives that live in a village in southwestern Ukraine. And I pulled in by bus and went to a coffee shop in a nice restaurant, outdoor patio. Even though it was October, it was getting cold. A lot of them had outdoor heaters. And a gentleman approached me and said, "Can I join you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm having tea." And the waiter came and he said to the waiter, "Get my friend here some tea, and he loves lots of honey in his tea." And what happened then is I felt dizzy after I drank the tea, and I said, "I'm suspicious here. I think I've been set up. I better get out of here." And I started to take a few steps away, and the next thing I knew, many hours later, I woke up in a Lviv hospital, and the staff at the hospital said that I had been taken out in the country, rolled for my money, my credit cards, my phone, and left covered in snow, because there was snow on the ground in the rural. And someone spotted me. If they hadn't spotted me, probably by morning I would have been frozen to death. Like I say, it was a shocking experience, because you never think these tragic things will ever happen to you. I had a couple nurses come up to me and say, "We're so ashamed that you were robbed and nearly left to die in your homeland, your grandpa's homeland, the Ukraine." I said, "Please get me out of here. I wanted to shut my credit card down." And the doctors and medical staff said, "You can't leave till the Canadian Embassy and the police come and see you." And the police didn't show up at 11 that morning, and the Canadian Embassy didn't show up. So by afternoon, I finally got discharged from the hospital. No money, no credit cards, no phone. Survived. And I had a week left before I returned home to Canada. So my first thing was to find the Canadian Embassy and see if I could get some help, and to go to the police and give a report to the police. That took a while because, like I say, I'm penniless and no phone. I asked the hostel to put me up for a day or two, and I'll pay them when I get back to Canada when I get some money. And the police finally came to interview me. I gave them a statement. Finally got a hold of the embassy. They gave me a few dollars, some grivna, to get back on a train and go back to Kiev. And the thieves took my money and credit cards, but they didn't take in the secret compartment in my wallet. I had my return ticket to Kiev. So I was able to get back to Kiev, but on the journey back on the train, my body had been so shook up by this ordeal and the cold that I had fever, and I was starting to convulse and sick on the train. And the other passengers called some of the train staff, and they were going to stop the train and take me to another rural hospital. And I pleaded with them to get me back to the capital where I was familiar and knew a few people. And they agreed. And when I got to Kiev, they gave me a few dollars, some grivna. The train people did, which helped me get a cab and get back to where I was staying. But there was no room because they hadn't expected me back, and I only had a few dollars. So what happened is I thought, well, gee, I might have to sleep in the hallway or on the street, which is, I don't speak Ukrainian or Russian. So it was difficult. So I went to another new hostel in the same building and asked if they had room. And they said, sorry, we don't have room. It's booked. So here I was accepting the fate that I might be left on the street, and the weather was pretty cold. And a young lad working at the other hostel said, I'll give you my bed and I'll sleep on the couch tonight. And he helped me out. And then two Muslim men that I had met earlier in Ukraine came to my aid. And one of them was a businessman. And he said, in the book of Koran, it is written that when a brother or sister is injured or in need of help, you must help him. And we will give you some funds to pay for your lodging and meals until emergency money comes from Canada. So by the grace of God, I was helped by a Muslim gentleman. And I'm very, very grateful to this day because I was sick. I was still not feeling well. The thought of nearly dying. And I phoned home, and my kids, my adult children, one lives in Australia, phoned me and said, Dad, get home, get out of there. And I'm a realist. I come from Canada. I know we have robberies here and we have tragedies happen here. So I'm not holding that against what happened to me. But it was just with the language difficulties and being penniless in my grandpa's homeland, Guido's homeland, it was difficult. But I survived it. My youngest son from Edmonton, Alberta, sent me some funds by Western Union. They came through to one of the banks, and in a few days I had some emergency money that helped me get through for the final week. The embassy tried to get me home to Canada sooner, but they wanted to double their airfare to get an emergency exit from the Ukraine. For a while, in my heart, I said, gee, I'm never going back to my grandpa's homeland. But that changed because I said, I can come home and that same thing could happen to me in Canada. We've got our own social unrest and problems here at times, and people get mugged or robbed. But on a holiday, when this happens, it was an ordeal. It took me a while to heal. The local media back home heard about it and wanted to interview me shortly after I got home because I was a city councilor, and I think they wanted a story. I wanted some time to heal before I could even talk about this. And so I've shared it with you, Joe, and the viewers that are listening to this. And it hasn't deterred me from wanting to find my soulmate, my best friend, my life partner. And I'm ready to rock and roll again.
Yeah, I mean, by the grace of God, you were, he was watching out for you. So amen to that one. That's
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And the other thing I'll say is you are a sucker for punishment.
Hey, unlike the Ukrainian man that just won the world's strongest man contest.
Yeah, absolutely. That's quite a story. So basically, to recap, you were just mid-afternoon in Lviv having a cup of tea, and a man asked if he could join you, and you thought, okay, why not?
Yeah.
And soon after, you found yourself drugged, you lost consciousness, and you found yourself, that's it.
Yep.
And you woke up in a field. Or in the hospital. You came to later
I came
in the hospital.
to the hospital, but they told me I was stripped of all my clothes.
And my buddy, who's a psychologist back in Canada, said, "Oh, you're kidding me. They wouldn't have stripped you of all your clothes?" I said, "Yes." The hospital staff said my clothes were scattered all over. I was just happy I survived, because in cold weather, it was late October. Would have been frozen to death probably by morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, what a small world. A friend of mine knows you from this hostel. This was the hostel in on Creshatic near Maidan.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, from California, Peter, and you hung out with him for a little while.
Okay. Well, yeah, Donnie from Canada owned that hostel for a while.
Yeah, yeah, my friend knows the owner.
Yeah, well, he sold it, but he was married to a Ukrainian gal, and they had a little girl. And just by luck, I found that hostel, and I enjoyed it because I met people from all around the world, Australia, Switzerland, Norway, you name it, Egypt. I just love meeting people, and that was part of the experience. And it was economical. It saved some money, so I could have money to go out on the town and go to some nice restaurants. But yeah,
Peter
with a life story,
Peter was saying you actually got quite a reputation for yourself in that hostel. They called you the wife hunter. Denis the wife hunter.
Well, they knew I was determined to find a Ukrainian or Russian soulmate.
Yeah. So thanks for sharing that story. So how long have you been searching for a wife in Ukraine, Denis?
4 years. 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much are you out of pocket all in, would you say?
Well, a lot of my airfares were done by saving air miles. So that saved a lot of funds just by everything I purchased. I purchased on Visa, so I got the trips through air miles. But I initially came to the Ukraine to get some good dental work done at a lot cheaper price than North America.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the reasons. But I also wanted to then travel and meet some of my grandfather's relatives that still live in southwestern Ukraine. So that was part of the initial thrust. And then I heard about a few of the matchmaking agencies, and I said, well, let's give this a go. And I was cautious because I was told that some of them are full of scams. I was aware. I'm not that naive. And I worked in corrections a good chunk of my life, so I guess I'm aware of that element. I worked in jails and penitentiaries as a counselor, so I was aware of beware. Don't be that naive. But all in all, I had really met some great people in the Ukraine, some great restaurants, some friends that I go back to, and the people I met at the hostel from all over the world. They were amazing, amazing people.
Great. So how much all in do you think you're out of pocket on this journey looking for a Ukraine wife?
Oh, about $5,000.
$5,000.
Yeah, about
so
$5,000.
You're a do-it-yourselfer, or did you mostly search yourself, or did you employ the use of agencies and dating sites?
I had a little help. Used a couple agencies, but mainly myself. Yeah.
Mainly do-it-yourself? Okay.
Yeah.
And which, as I always put it, which pond were you fishing in with the agencies? What agencies or sites did you use to meet ladies?
Well, I started with Kiev Connections, and I had a few. Okay. I had a few really good dates through them, and I had a few that weren't. But I didn't really question whether. I got the feeling that it was more people wanted to have someone to go out with and spend some money on them, but it wasn't really commitment from the folks I dated, from the ladies I dated. And then I tried, I can't even remember the name, one or two smaller agencies. And again, I felt the same thing. It was somebody just wanted to go out and go to the most expensive restaurant and have you spend some money on a really quality, expensive meal. Yeah. But I did meet one or two that I really started to feel deep emotional connections with. And one was a teacher, probably one of the first dates. I really liked her a lot, and it was getting serious. And I asked her to meet her mother and bring her mother out for supper with us. That one stands out because her name was Olga, and a really special lady. And she had already been to the United States with a previous suitor, and it didn't work out in Florida. And she shared with me why it didn't work out. But I was optimistic Olga was going to be the one. And we had a great meal in a nice restaurant in downtown Kiev, just off the Maidan Square. And after the meal, her mother pulled out a Jehovah's Witness book and wanted to ask me, or began to speak to me about, am I a Jehovah's Witness? And she'd like her daughter to marry a Jehovah's Witness. And I remember turning to Olga and saying, Olga, are you telling me that you're Jehovah's Witness? Because that's not what the site said. And she says, no, I'm not, but my mom would like me to be. And I says, well, tell your mother, please. I respect her religious viewpoints. And if you were to marry me and come to Canada, your mother would be by herself. She could come too. And we have a Jehovah's Witness congregation and church in our city. And she could welcome and have her religious beliefs honored there. But please don't preach her religious views to me, because I'm a Protestant, a Christian. I go to church nearly every week. My faith in Christ is very important to me. And I have a lot of different beliefs than the Jehovah's Witness. So I said, please tell your mother, don't go there with me. So the next day, Olga shared with me that her mom was a little perturbed with Denis, but I was upfront. I've always been upfront in my courting that my Christian faith is very important to me. And if it isn't important to the lady I'm dating, then probably we're definitely not a good match, because I believe in family life. It's important to have a spiritual base.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that, Denis. What age were these ladies you met through Kyiv Connections and these other agencies in Kyiv, just so I can have an idea of the age gap?
Between 30 and 60.
Between 30 and 60. Okay. How many of them were 30 and how many were 60?
Oh, probably equally in each 10-year age gap. Half a dozen in between 30 and 40, half a dozen between 40 and 50, and a half a dozen between 50 and 60.
Oh, so how many ladies all in you dated, would you say?
Probably 15, 20.
Oh, okay.
15 or 20.
All right. And Olga was the one that really...
There was another lady, Svetlana in Nikolaev. She touched my heart too. And I was hoping things might have worked out there. So no, I had a few ladies that touched me. Yeah, touched me dearly.
So you got the taste of Ukraine beauty and traditional values, I presume, and like the rest of us, you were
having quality relationship. If I'm going to the pool, going for walks in the park, going to Shevchenko Theater in Kiev, everything from just going out for a coffee and a dessert, and just visiting and talking. Walking the square when they shut the square down on the weekends and the busters are out and everybody's having a good time. I mean, there was a lot of quality moments. Many quality moments.
Let me ask you. I always ask guys, because you have so much experience, as does every man has his own unique experience. And part of this audition is to help out your fellow man, your brother on the same mission. So what would you say is your top 3 lessons you've learned the hard way that you would encourage guys not to make the same costly, painful mistakes you made? 3 top lessons, tips.
I guess one of the things you try to learn is double check and triple check the agency. If you're going to use an agency, and that's hard to get. You get some feedback if you check on the computer. Some people will give their response having used some of the agencies. They'll give some feedback. So one of the key things is it's like going to a car dealership or going to a store. You check them for credibility. So that's part of it. The other part is it's a little bit more difficult when you don't know the language, and that's the element of risk you take when you go to another country. I wish when I was younger, I would have learned Ukrainian or Russian. I didn't. My mother was parents were from Sweden, her family, and my dad's were Ukrainian. But when I grew up, we just had English in the home. And so I'd say familiarity with the language helps. And third, do your research on some of the things to be aware of.
Yeah. And I guess don't accept invitation from a stranger, and watch your tea very carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard of this happening in bars, Joe. I heard of this happening with people from all over the world that came to the hostel that said they went to a bar, a nightclub in the evening, and that's where they got rolled. Somebody got them, buy me a few drinks, got them under the influence of alcohol. And so I never, ever went to any of the bars or night scene like that. I was always cautious of that. And then it happens mid-afternoon having tea on a patio. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'll actually put the link to a video below. One of our clients, Jason, who's happily married now. Yeah, he was rolled for $11,000 on his trip here. Again, slipped him a Mickey Finn in his beer, and he passed out as he walked into his flat. And he's a big, strapping 36-year-old man, you know? So it can really happen to anybody. You got to be super careful here, guys. So let me ask you, Denis, why Ukraine? Why have you not managed to find a wife in Canada?
Well, I've dated a number in Canada, and I guess my standards are quite high, and I don't, when I find out a date smokes, I'm very much into healthy living, and I dated a beautiful nurse, and after having supper at a nice restaurant one night, she said, I have to step outside, and she opened her purse and pulled out a pack of cigarettes. And I said to her after, I like you a lot, but I don't want to get serious with someone that's a smoker. I've dated some that drink too much, and that's not good with me either. So my standards are, I dated a lot of women in Canada, and one or two I really, really started to get attached to. And I'll share one with you. She had a very important position. She was a professional. And at the end of the date, she said, oh, by the way, Denis, I should tell you I'm married. And I went, what? And she said, my husband had some health issues and he's in a care home and he'll never get better. But I want a man to have some good times with. Well, my journey was to find commitment and a partner for life, a soulmate. And that shook me up. And let's say I had a few of those type of journeys where in Canada, where there was wake-up calls.
Yeah, well, that can happen in Canada too. I see. Yeah. So, okay, let's take a deep breath in and out. And let me ask you, are you ready to change your bad story into a good story with a happy ending?
Oh, I'm an eternal optimist, Joe. I never give up. In my nature, my makeup.
That's awesome. That's great. Because at the end of the day, if we don't believe in our success, it just probably isn't going to happen, right? So, okay, great. Let me ask you to play along with this exercise and just for 30 seconds, close your eyes and imagine your happy future with your beautiful Ukrainian wife. Does she have children? Imagine where you live. Imagine the happy moments you'll share together, maybe traveling, however you see your life unfolding together. Can you see that picture in your mind's eye right now, Denis?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Well, thanks for doing that quick exercise. I totally recommend to every guy that we, do that as much as possible. It's embodiment of the law of attraction, that we attract into our life what we envision, what we see, and what we focus on, right? So, great. Okay. Next, to help give you a feeling of what this experience might look like with Match Guarantee, I'm going to play a little video of some past clients. And actually, Jean-Francis just went live. He's in Maidan right now, and he literally landed 3 days ago. He's met, as he put it, one wow lady, which is, I always coach the guy, wait for the wow woman. He met the wow and another lady that was a half of a wow, he said. So he's doing pretty good. And he's one of your competitors here on the Who Wants to Marry a Foreigner, but he jumped on a plane and he got himself here. So anyway, I'll play this and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe play the video, Vlad. Is it here?
Have you been searching?
It's not here. Okay, let's move on. Okay, no worries. Okay, let me ask you, what specifically are you looking for in your future wife, Denis?
My standards are fairly high, Joe. Someone that's educated, someone that has her own career or her own goals in life, so she can feel some sense of purpose and contentment. I guess you look for compatibility between the two of you, how you get along. everybody says, well, that chemistry. Well, that chemistry is many things. Do you have some common interests? I really love sports. I play a number of sports, especially tennis, but many sports. I love theater. I love folk festivals. I like going to farmers markets. I like the outdoors. I garden. I'm learning to be a better cook. So someone that has some of those common interests. I have 5 grown children. I'm very proud of my kids. And if the lady has children of her own, that's great. And if somebody put to me, well, would you have more children? If I fell in love with someone that wanted them, yes, I would. I guess at my age, I'd say, no, probably I'd prefer she have a couple children of her own. I've had a couple. I've had mine, but I'm open. I also want someone that's got a spiritual base. Christ is important in my life. I go to church fairly regularly. I'm active in my church community. That's important to me. I have the odd social drink, but basically I don't smoke. I lead a very healthy lifestyle. I was going to do my yoga and my exercise this morning, but we had this early taping, so I didn't get this done. But I will do it today. I'm very active in staying fit. And family is number one. Family is very important to me. Friends and family are probably number one in my life next to my faith.
I would agree. That's a tall bar. Seems like you do have a tall bar. But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, we get in life what we ask for the most part. But of course, there's some overriding rules there. Okay, let's move on and talk about your 10 lady introductory package, or test drive as we call it. You've chosen 10 ladies from our unlimited database of ladies on our site, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you wrote them your introductory letter, which is a generic letter that goes out to all of them. We sent your best picks, and now you're waiting to hear back from the ladies, right?
Correct.
Okay. So are you excited to see which ladies are going to reply yes, they'd like to meet with you in Kiev?
Very much so.
Very much so.
I think I sent you 25. I think it was around 25, and they're all intellectuals, beautiful women. Family's important to them. Just fantastic.
Let's play this.
Partners.
Great. Let's play this just one more time so guys can have a fresh look at your ladies, and then we'll be back in just 1 minute. Phew. Yeah, you've got some stunners in there. So let me ask you, Denis, from those 10, how many yeses do you think you're going to get? What would be your guess?
I'll be happy if I get 50%. And if there's better, that's great.
Okay, 5. So do you feel these ladies are realistic for you?
Oh, I do. Because the group, from their profiles, if everything's accurate, they've got careers, family's important to them, they have healthy lifestyles, and they want a mature man with experience that truly is able to love and express his feelings of love to them. And I think that's what life experience can give a person in a relationship. Here in Canada, I've dated people in that age group, and they're in the ages of their 30s to 52. So I'd take 25, 30 years.
That was my next question, actually. So back home in Canada, do you think these ladies, these 10 ladies we all just looked at, are they, within your grasp? Are they realistic in Canada for you to date?
Yes, they are. But some of them don't have the healthy lifestyle, which my standard bar is higher. And more are committed. They go into common law relationships, and there's not a lot of eligibility. In the Ukraine, there's a lot more women to men.
Okay. Okay. So again, viewers out there, I'm going to ask you, give a thumbs up if you agree with Denis. You think this is, within reality for Denis, or thumbs down if you think, he's out of his league. This ain't going to happen. Please vote. The network has asked for your help in that too. Okay. So yeah, are you ready, Denis, to get into Zone of Success and take a look at your real chances to get what you want, not to be successful, but to be successful with what you want? Are you ready for that?
More than ready.
Okay,
More than ready.
Great. So Denis, my promise to you, as is all our prospective clients, is not to blow smoke up your beep, and to give you my honest assessment, because I'm of the opinion that being less than brutally honest with somebody just doesn't serve them. I believe the truth shall always set us free, and we all deserve to know what a professional on the other side thinks is the truth. Okay, fair enough?
Yes.
Okay, so sometimes that requires some tough love, and if it does, you will receive the tough love from me, but we'll see as we go here. Okay, let's go through your zone of success, what we call it. Now, zone of success, Tatiana and I designed 5 years ago when we started Match Guarantee. And basically, it was created by reverse engineering from an engineer. I just had to do it, sat down, Tatiana, and said, how is it you have hundreds of married couples, in this industry? And why do these ones get married and the other clients don't get married? I mean, what's the difference? So we basically broke it down into 5 parameters, and we looked and we analyzed that. And we saw that the ones that got married, they were like 95 percentile within these 5 parameters. We went through as many of these and analyzed it as was possible, heavily dependent on her memory at the time. And basically, these parameters are very accurate in nailing a man's potential, probability of success in getting, again, what you want, as opposed to just success, maybe focusing in a different way. And part of what the zone of success is for is every man, I call it the curse of man. The curse of man is regardless of our age. And guys, am I right or am I all wet? Regardless of our age, we will pursue the youngest, most beautiful woman that we think we have a shot to win, because we're a hunter, right? And that's kind of the curse of man. So on one side, yeah, we need to do that to be a man, to feel like a man. But on the other side of the coin, if we're not within reality, or we're not reasonable, we're just not going to be successful. So I coach guys that, hey, go for it, fire in this direction, go for what you want. But if it's not working, will you be willing to course correct into a direction that will work for you, rather than having a cold bed at night? So sometimes I go there with clients. Okay. Yeah, that's my little pre-zone of success pep talk. Okay, let's get into point number 1, age gap. And age gap, when you analyze married couples, it is the number 1 reason for any given man's failure here. And that's with Match Guarantee, without Match Guarantee. If a guy is not within a certain age range, his just probability of failing becomes very high. It reaches like an inflection point. And if you look at the marriages that we've had, the hundreds, they're within 10 to 15 years. And now we've had marriages with more of an age gap than that, but if you look at the bulk of them, or the main part of the bell curve, it's within 10 to 15 year age gap. So let's take this one on first. I noticed in your ladies, you have up to a 39-year age gap. How do you feel about that? And what's your comments or opinion about age gap?
I think it all depends on the couple. And I studied that very closely too before I got involved in this, Joe. And I've dated younger ladies in Canada, but a lot of them have very limited living experience and maturity level. That can be an issue. But I think if a person is healthy, leads a healthy lifestyle, and has a good understanding of relationships, you got a lot more to give. And I guess I even studied your own personal experience, Jill, and yours is a lot different than most too. And I feel as optimistic as you did when you met Anna.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so we will go through all 5 points and we will just kind of discuss it. And I'm here remaining as open as I can. I'm trying to be an open vessel to receive your information and your wishes, to give you my honest, just, man to man, almost like friend to friend, buddy to buddy, thoughts and opinions, distilling it down to that at the end. Okay, so I'll wait until the end, and I'm just taking in every word that you have to say. Okay,
Go ahead.
So, okay, point 2 is your financial stability. Okay, so Ukrainian women, number 1 pretty much need here is safety and security. Safety and security and love is every woman's top 2 needs. But I find in Ukraine, safety and security, if you can't provide that, you won't make it to love. She won't let herself fall in love with you. You just won't get enough time on the ball, as they say in golf, right? So how would you rate your financial stability in your life? Because you're semi-retired, right? How would you rate that?
I'm above average because I got a 50,000 plus income, a home paid for, and money in the bank. So I'm better than average. Enjoying the moment and living life to the fullest, except for one thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Home paid for, 50 grand, cash in the bank. That's pretty good. And you have time on your hands as well, which is a big one.
Time to love.
Yeah, time to love, time to find the right one. Okay, great. Point number 3 is, and 3 and 4 about children. So point 3 is, are you okay? Are you wanting to find a single mom, or doesn't matter? What's your position on single moms?
Ideally, if my lifetime partner ended up being someone with 1, 2, 3 kids, I'm happy with that. Welcome that, which a lot of men wouldn't be. I'm more than happy. I have 5 grown children. They're very close and very, very dear to me, and I'm very proud of them. And I have 5 grandchildren, and family is crucial. I just love dearly. So yet, if I met someone, say, that fell in love with someone around 40 that hadn't had a child and wanted one, I would be open, because I'd have more time now to give to those child or children than I did when I had to work to support and raise mine.
Right. Yeah, we learn, right? We learn in life.
Oh,
and
yeah.
make a better parent later on. How many daughters do you have?
1.
1. How old is your daughter?
Just turned 32. She's a doctor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And your boys, how old are your boys?
Boys are 35, 43, 44, and 48.
Wow, you have a boy, 48. Wow. Okay.
He works in the oil patch, lives in Australia. Just buzzed me yesterday. Yeah. COVID's prevented him from going home to visit his partner. He had to do an extra stint on the oil patch, 5 months without seeing his sweetheart.
Yeah, that's tough. How about single moms? Your 10 lady choices, how many of those were single moms? Do you recall?
A number of them are. But some, Natalia, a couple have grown children, and a couple would be younger. So there's a number that have children. Okay. Point 4 is, do you want to have children with your future wife? If she does, I'd be more than willing, but I'm at the stage where I'd be happy if she had a couple and my kids are growing up and we just have the joy of our blended family. And that would be the joy. But I want to be open, because you don't know where the Spirit's going to guide you.
Okay, fair enough. So you're open to it, but it's not something you would insist on, and that's what I'm
Oh
understanding.
no, not at all.
So on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being you absolutely have to have a child with her, where would you be from 0 to 10?
Oh, I'd be a 2.
A 2. Okay. Okay, I understand. Um, and these points
Most
are
of the
important.
Joe, most of the
Mhm.
ladies in Ukraine only have one child. I've met a couple with 3. That's an exceptionally big family in the Ukraine. I was in a McDonald's one day and a lady came in with her 3 little kids, and I was in shock because I came from a family of 9 children. I had 6 sisters and 2 brothers. I know what, and we were just an average size family. There was lots that were 10 and 12 when I grew up. Nowadays, you have a family of 1.5. They say 1.5 per couple. Like, let's get real. The economy has had an effect on preventing large families in the Ukraine. But in Canada, lots want to live an affluent lifestyle, and they don't want lots of children because of the cost to raise them. And you got both parents working, and a lot of people living sometimes beyond their means in expensive mansions and costing a fortune. I've always been someone that lives, what's the word, middle class, comfortably, but I don't get caught up into I don't believe in things like excessive debt and that. I never have. Live responsibly. That's important.
Yeah,
And it's relationships that are the happy thing.
absolutely. Relationships are what makes us most happy at the end of the day. Yeah, I was just looking at the Ukraine demographics actually the other day, preparing for my COVID update in Ukraine. And yeah, back in 1955, the average was 3.0 children per couple. Back in 1955. Now it's 1.0. So like the rest of the world, we're having less and less babies in Ukraine. So let me just explain point 3 and 4, why it's important. So point 3, are you looking for a single mom? Or are you okay with a single mom? That is important just because of the sheer volume of single moms in Ukraine. There is a plethora of them. So if a man is looking for or okay with a single mom, if he can fall in love with a single mom and take care of her children and love her children as his own, it really is I can't stress enough, it's a game changer for a man's choice and his probability of success. And certainly, if a guy is looking for a large age gap, that would be, in my strong opinion, one of the most important variables that if you're with a single mom and you're a good man, good provider, good father, a single mom would be the highest chance of pulling off a large age gap and still having it be, a marriage that will stay on track as you age, and not derail quickly, which large age gap marriages statistically do, right? So that's point 3. And point 4, do you want to have children? The reason I asked that, and I'm glad to hear you're not insisting on it, because at age 71, I can almost assure you that the percentage of ladies that you would meet that would want to have a child with you just because of your age are so small that if you did insist on that, it would preclude your failure pretty much here. So it's good to hear that you're open to it, but it's only a 2 in 10. Because if a man really insists on it, like one time on Krishatic, when I told an American medical doctor that was younger than you, but he absolutely had to have kids, and I told him I couldn't help him. I couldn't take him as a client because I didn't see him being successful. He almost kapowed me. So again, just being...
Joe, I worked as a relationship counselor, so I speak when I think I speak with some wisdom on this topic. I'm open-minded. It's a lady has one lady has 2 or 3 kids. I can live with that. I'm happy. I love children, and I think that's God's greatest blessing. If you got a stable relationship and you have some children, and there's a lot of blended families today, and open arms to that. And that's a lot of the ladies on their profiles say, well, I want my future husband or soulmate to accept and be a good father to my children. I will be that. So it's not an issue.
Yeah, and that's frankly speaking, I think is your biggest plus in you having chance. I will say a chance at this point at getting what you want, right? So, okay, point 5 is how often can you come to Ukraine if you meet somebody, or even just looking, but you meet somebody, let's say, how often can you come back and meet up with her?
Joe, the big thing here is if it's a strong connection, I will welcome her to come over here. And I think in a short period of time, you can know if it's a strong connection, and not the time to beat around the bush and say, I'm going to make 5 more trips or 7 more trips. That's the only danger with long distance dating and matchmaking on an agency. That's if she lived in my city or a neighboring city, you could see her every weekend. But the couple $1,000 airfare is not going to have you popping across the ocean a stack of times. I've made 3 trips already. And like I say, 1 was for medical, dental work. But after the last 2 and after the 1 tragedy, I thought I might not be coming back. But I think a person, if you're dating someone that's 40 years old, that's been in a marriage and it hasn't worked out, and a good number are that age and divorced single parents in the Ukraine, I think they fit in with the Canadian demographics of relationships. And I think 2 mature adults can make that determination fairly fast.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We're not 20-year-olds or 17-year-olds.
Vlad, just speaking to our director in the back here, we'll have to probably wait for George Wiley's live stream with Steve, hey, on the channel. So just hang tight, everybody. George Wiley from Toronto is coming on with Steve as soon as I'm done with Denis here. But I think we're going to go over the hour quite a bit, maybe 20 minutes over. So, yeah, about the reason we ask you this question, Denis, is our average time from meet to marriage in the agency of the hundreds of marriages is 1 year. And if you look at recent marriages like William and Lilia, 1 year almost exactly. If you look at Steve and his fiance, yeah, they're just about at a year. And so, just look at recent marriages even. And the ones that pan out and they actually make it to walk down the aisle, you will see it takes quite a number of trips to come to Ukraine. And the reason that is, imagine a woman's got to change her whole life for whoever man she's going to go move with, and call a husband. She's got to give up her family, her friends, her culture, her language, and start life, all over again. So you'll find that whatever lady you're dating, she's going to need you to come to Ukraine until she feels comfortable. Feels comfortable to get that feeling that, okay, I really see this could be my man. That's about as far as she will go with that. I see it's possible. Now I'm to the place where I'm comfortable enough that I'm ready to go to his country. And then she absolutely wants to go to Canada and see how you live, meet your family. And then she needs to picture, okay, can I live here and be happy and, with this man? But it does take some time. Every woman's different, but the average is a year. And I got to say, 4 to 6 trips within that time is the average. So how do you feel about that?
Joseph, I'm going to be the exception. I know how long it took you and Anna, and I think being older and wiser, I have respect that the ladies I've chosen, if not the majority, are mature and ready to take an undertaking if they feel there's a connection, and it won't take that many.
So let me ask you, your plan is to come, start a relationship, cultivate it here 1 trip, and then would you come back for a second trip?
Oh, it might be 2, 3, but I'm saying it doesn't have to be.
Okay, couple trips, and then you will invite her to Canada and see how it goes. See if
sure. I've had some I've dated before, Joe, that have showed up in Canada, but they wanted to just come for a few days. Well, you don't fly someone this far for just a few days. In fact, the one gal I dated part of her job was a tour guide. She was in Vancouver and she phoned me up and says, can I just fly out and see you for the weekend? You know what it's like to get charter on a weekend when you have no planned trip? It would be about 5 times the cost. I mean, I'm a practical man with common sense, and you do things that got some thought and think the situation through.
Had you ever met that lady you're talking about?
Oh,
That was
yes,
going to
I
fly
did.
to you?
Hey, she's with another agency, and I think highly of her. But she was like, I'll see Canada while I'm with a tour guide. While I'm here with a group of students, I'll fly to Central Canada. Can I have the weekend? Will you charter, get me to your place for the weekend? It's ludicrous. You just don't charter.
Had you met her before, though? Had you met her
Dated
before?
her about 8-10 times.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
Gotcha.
yes.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She
Okay.
was 40 and single.
Okay. So let me understand. If you're, you come for 1 or 2, 3 trips and you like her, she likes you, but just reading some comments. She's not ready yet. Let's say you've been to Ukraine 2 or 3 times, but you invite her to Canada and she says, Denis, I'm just really not ready yet. I need to get to know you more. Are you okay with, what would you do in that situation?
I guess there's so many scenarios that you're saying there. A lot of them with their jobs, they could, or careers, they could transpose or transfer very easily. But if, say, someone was teaching at a university, like one of the ladies that's on my list to date, she might want to finish the term before she transfers over. But I was shocked. I found out she put her income level, what some of them make at a university. I nearly died. People making under $10,000 a year teaching at the university. Hey, you started McDonald's and you make more than that here.
But my question, Denis, is if you're in this situation, you're dating, you've been a couple, 2, 3 times, but she's not comfortable yet to come to Canada. Are you okay with continuing coming back, or are you going to be insistent? Or I'm trying to understand your position on this matter.
Well, I don't think you're going to want to go on forever. I mean, it's not like going to my neighboring city, Saskatoon or Brandon, Manitoba for a weekend. It's across the ocean, a couple $1,000 airfare. I mean, it gets to be a point that it's like the lady that flew here with a tour guide in Vancouver and says, snaps her fingers, fly me out to the middle of Canada. You lived here, Joe, and you know that just starts to become totally unrealistic.
So I'm just trying to distill your answer. I still don't have one. I'm assuming it means
each situation will be assessed on its merits. Okay. Yeah, each situation on its merits.
Okay.
And
the reason I'm kind of stopped on this, because I'm evaluating what I think is your probability of success getting what you want. So this is a sticking point. I'm sensing some potential issues for you in the future. Maybe you're not realistic on how long this might take you before she'll come and see you, and you pull this off. So that's why I'm insisting on.
Joe, I'm optimistic that if it's meant to be, it'll work out, and that I'm flexible and open-minded.
Fair enough. So, Denis, are you ready to hear my assessment of what I think are your real chances of finding the wife that you want?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. So this zone of success, it's really interesting because we've been using this almost since the inception of Match Guarantee to evaluate, each prospective client's chances of success. Now, what's really interesting is we keep track of how many yeses from the 10, how many yeses he gets, and how many no's he gets. And it's remarkable, it's shown itself to be almost like a barometer of your success. So for example, if you get 5 out of 10, 5 or 6 out of 10 is a very good average score. So if a man, for example, gets 5 or 6 out of 10 yeses from the 10 ladies he's chose, inviting out on a date in Kiev, he's got a very good chance of success, because if the first 10 don't pan out, he chooses another 10 and then another 10 and another. I mean, as long as it takes, right? It is unlimited. Most of our guys come on our unlimited package, and that's why we have such a high marriage success rate. Now, if a man gets 1 out of 10, for example, that tells us he's really far off zone of success. That tells us his chances of success are really low. And he's probably not going to be successful. So between 1 and 6 or 7, that's the barometer, kind of 0 to 100%. If you rescale it, between 1 and 6 or 7 would be the new 0 to 100%. What I would suggest is that we go ahead, pull the trigger on actually finding out how many of those 10 are going to say yes. And how about we let that number determine your probability of success?
Sure.
Okay.
And I think I submitted around 25 names to you. And I think out of those, there's some others that are all about the same age range as you and Anna. So I think we're pretty close, Joe.
Well, we're not doing 25. We do 10.
No, but I'm
Everybody
saying
does 10. So
this is a sample which is similar to the other 10. So
yeah,
I think it's a fair sample. I think there's
okay.
what, 20 or 25 age gap between you and Anna?
20.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Joe, I'm very healthy.
Hey, listen, you're preaching to the choir. You got to remember, I'm on your side.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on your side, but at the same time, I will call it as I see it, right? Which most people, frankly speaking, in this industry are a little weak in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
They'll blow smoke up somebody's, you know what?
Yeah.
I won't do that because I don't think it serves. So what I wanted to say about that, what I suggest is we pull the trigger on this, and then you and I do another live, and I will, because as part of the audition, I will let you know what your results are live. Okay? Fair enough. Yeah. And then I have a big question for you. If, we'll see how it comes in, but if you do get, let's say, for example, a 1 out of 10, one lady says yes to you, the 9 say no. Okay. My question to you is, are you willing to course correct and, shrink that age gap and maybe the beauty level gap? Will you course correct and try on other ladies, broaden your horizons, so to speak?
Well, you have 15 others that are already submitted.
Okay, but if it's the same age gap and the same profile difference, it's not really readjusting your sights. So basically,
some of them, Joe, are different ages in that age gap. The other ones, so
right.
I know the ladies' profiles well, Joe.
Okay, but I can see you were a pastor and kind of like a politician. My question I'm just trying to get from you is basically, if you're not successful in the direction you're shooting right now, are you willing to course correct? Yes or no? Or no? Some guys will say, no, I'm not. If I don't get what I'm looking for, I'd rather be single for the rest of my days. Some guys do this. They say that, but most don't. Where are you at?
Joe, I would look at the next 15 that I submitted to you.
So you won't answer my question.
Well, I'm saying the other 15. How do you pick the 10 that you picked when I submitted 25? So,
but the other 15, you said they're about the same age gap and beauty level. So it's not really a change of
mid 40s, Joe. Mid 40s.
Okay. I don't
want someone, Joe, that's a lot of folks get 50, 55 and they're not in good health and they got no energy. I don't want someone that's ready to go to pasture. I mean, I want someone that can play tennis, get involved, and have an energy level to keep up with this Ukrainian fella.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I'll share a story with you. I have a good friend. I think he's 70. I think he's 72 now. He's bald as well, and you actually look quite a bit like him. And he's a former pastor. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of similarities. Okay. He's been coming to Ukraine for I think it's about 13 years now. And he looks in the 30-year age gap, which is about, You know, you've got a lot in there with 30 plus year
Yeah.
age gap. And I mean, results speak for itself. He's been looking for 13 years. He was married happily, 3 daughters, married for, I think, 35 years. At the end of the day, I think 13, 14 years coming to Ukraine every summer for a long, long stay. And he's still single. So I'm just saying, asking if you're open to course correction or not.
I'm flexible.
Okay. Well, let's see how it comes back, and you guys will meet. I could guess right now on how many yeses or nos you're going to get, but why don't we just leave it up to reality? You know, see what actually happens. And I will say this: I do feel that because you're open to single moms, and you're financially secure. You know, you're not a rich guy, but you're secure, and that's okay. We don't need to be rich to attract a good traditional value woman. We just need safety and security. It's a fallacy that you need to be rich. You need to be rich to have a gold digger, but that's not what most guys are looking for. But you know, own your own home, and the amount of money you make, you can provide a nice nest for a good old-fashioned traditional gal. You can travel, you have time on your hands. So those are all pluses. So to me, you have a very unique balance of pros and cons that offset your age to a degree. And let's just see how it comes out. And I think if you're open to refocusing, if need be, we will see. I think that will be a big contributing factor to your success or failure. Okay, fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, sounds good. So we will fire that out to your ladies, and probably you and I will be back doing this again. Probably, I'm going to say in 2 weeks.
Good.
Okay. And I think this audition is going to take a couple more weeks to wrap up because we have, you know, quite a few guys left to do, and it's quite a long process. So, should we maybe? Oh wow, we have a lot of comments piling up. Hey Vlad, maybe remove the banners there. And are you ready for some comments? Like,
sure.
Let's just okay. So remove the banner, Vlad. Let's just okay. He's being egoistic and stubborn. Ooh. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just going through. You have a lot of comments. If you want to comment on any of these, feel free. Interesting comments. Also very sexual in the 60s. Okay, Edward. Rodney. So this is just kind of some peer feedback. Good, he's optimistic. Okay. Got a supporter here. Boy, there's a harsh assessment. Loy. Loy, okay. He's a client. Loy. Getting a fair bit of judgment here, my friend, coming in. Any other questions, guys, rather than daggers? Okay, appreciate that, Edward. Father Anderson, who said at the beginning, Здравствуйте, in good Russian. Okay. Father Anderson, okay. Okay. Yeah, this is there are beautiful 60-year-olds. This is kind of a point I would like to stress to you, Dennis, is that it's true. I mean, you said you're sporty. You want somebody that's very active. There are a lot of trim, slim, active ladies in Ukraine. Well, in our database anyway. There's a lot of larger ones too, but if you look at the number of fit ladies that are slim and trim and fit and still active in Ukraine, I think the percentage is higher than in Canada. So you can certainly find that. So what do you think, Dennis, of all this heavy criticism coming in here?
They're free to express their opinion,
Right.
but I know my personal life situation. I know my stability, my financial situation. I know my career professional association, and I've got a lot more to offer. And I don't know these people making those comments, but all I can say is I know where I'm coming from, and feel confident where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, I think the proof is in the pudding, as they say, and we will see when we get your 10 lady choices back. I hope you are open, to course correction if need be, because I want guys to be successful. And I realize, my Anna and I have a 20-year age gap. And it's on one hand, it's a great example of what is possible here, because I really think I've got the best woman in all of the country and the best children. So, it's definitely possible. It's possible, but at the same time, it might be a little bit of a over optimistic, example for a lot of guys. But it totally depends. It totally depends, and
You hit it on the head.
It totally depends. Yeah, and the reality is, for you guys looking for a very large age gap, which is 20 to 30 plus years. My advice to you would be come and live in Ukraine, because it's going to probably take you some serious time to find her. Probability wise, anything is possible. Come Ukraine, live in Ukraine, build your life in Ukraine. The guys that I've seen that have pulled off a very large age gap, they live in Ukraine. I find if they go back to their home country, often it doesn't end well. That's just some pragmatic, honest from the heart tips from what I've seen from guys that do pull it off. Yeah.
We have a fairly large Ukrainian community here in Prince Albert and in some of the neighboring cities. And once you connect with some of the local folks, you see that the world is pretty small. There's a good network here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is the largest diaspora of Ukrainians is in Canada in the world, right? So
you got it.
Most of them around Toronto, though, about 1 million of them. Toronto.
Oh no, Manitoba, Saskatchewan got a lot.
Yeah, Manitoba. My brother married. I grew up in Ukrainian with all Ukrainian traditions and customs, because my brother, when I was 18 years older than me, so I grew up with it, and there is a lot of Ukrainians on the prairies. Absolutely. So thanks once again, Denis.
Yes.
We will stay in touch. Appreciate you coming in the competition. I wish you all the best.
Right on.
And we will see you in a couple of weeks. Okay.
You got her, Joe. Take care.
Thanks again, my friend.
Right
okay.
on.
Bye for now.
Have you been searching for a beautiful wife? Do you dream of meeting the perfect woman, but haven't found her? Well, imagine if there was a simple way this could all change for you. Imagine if there was a Canadian marriage agency that would introduce you to as many beautiful women as it takes until you find the one. Ukraine, a lost world of beautiful traditional women. At last, a place where you can find the beautiful wife you have always dreamed of. Every Ukrainian woman dreams of having a happy family. Now you can have a traditional beautiful wife from Ukraine, creating happy family memories forever. So what are you waiting for? Register right now and Skype our beautiful ladies completely free. So what makes us different, you might ask? Why not ask Google simply by searching Match Guarantee Reviews?